A royal has vanished. No titles, no appearances, no explanation. One moment, they were part of the crown. The next, they were erased. King Charles made the decision in silence, with no warning and no room for return. Whispers of betrayal, secret reports, and even bloodline scandals swirl behind palace walls. Who was cut off, and why now? The palace won't say, but the signs are everywhere. A name scrubbed from the record, faces missing from events. The monarchy is cracking beneath its golden surface. The truth behind this royal exile will leave you speechless, and it's only just beginning. The bombshell that rocked Buckingham Palace. It happened suddenly. No public warning, no royal statement, no whisper of what was coming. But behind the gold-trimmed curtains of Buckingham Palace, the move was swift and brutal. A senior royal family member had been cut off by King Charles, not suspended, not sidelined, but disowned. The palace staff were stunned. For a family that thrives on control, this felt violent. One insider called it the coldest move in years. Another simply said, "We knew tensions existed, but we never thought it would go this far." The figure in question? A familiar name, a familiar face. But now, gone from the inner circle. No press release was issued. No image of unity was posted. The person vanished from schedules, photo ops, and palace communications, wiped out like a bad chapter. This wasn't a reshuffling. This was erasure. And if there was any doubt, palace aides confirmed it behind closed doors. They're out. Why now? Why this person? And what did they do that was so unforgivable it broke royal bloodlines? Some say it was the last straw after years of quiet disobedience. Others believe a devastating secret had finally reached the king's desk. Whatever the cause, the message was clear. Not even blood is safe anymore. He acted as a king, not as a father. No hesitation, no emotion, just exile. But how could this happen in a family that preaches unity and tradition? The answer lies in what the public doesn't see, the tension that simmers just beneath those perfect royal smiles. The royal family's facade. On the outside, the royal family is flawless. Picture-perfect waves from balconies, coordinated outfits at Christmas, stiff smiles that make the world believe all is calm. But insiders know better. Behind the scenes, it's war, quiet, cold, and carefully managed. The monarchy depends on appearances. Everything from how they walk to where they stand is strategic. But that strategy hides a deeper truth. Loyalty isn't a choice in the royal family. It's a requirement. And when someone steps out of line, especially someone close, the response is swift. Smiles are masks. Behind them, grudges last for generations. King Charles has spent decades under scrutiny. From Diana's ghost to Meghan's media storms, he's endured public shame and private frustration. So when he became king, it's said he swore one thing: I will protect the crown, no matter who I must sacrifice. Some believe this disownment has been building for years, an emotional chess game finally ending in checkmate. The family isn't a family, it's an institution. There are no siblings, no cousins, just roles, a former aide once said. And when those roles are betrayed, even the closest connections can be severed. This wasn't about a mistake. It was about a breach of code, one the king refused to forgive. The crown doesn't bend. Not for scandal, not for blood, not even for love. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, a private report arrived. It was confidential. It was devastating. And it was the final push Charles needed to act. What did it reveal? And why did it leave the king furious beyond words? The revelation that changed everything. A brown envelope, marked confidential, delivered directly to the king's desk. What it contained has been fiercely guarded, but sources close to the palace say it was a private intelligence report, and what it revealed shattered what little trust remained. It wasn't just about bad behavior. It was about betrayal. Deep, strategic, and unforgivable. Whispers suggest the report detailed unauthorized disclosures to foreign media outlets. Messages, leaks, possibly recordings. Someone inside the family had broken protocol, and worse, broken silence. Royal communications are tightly monitored. Every photo and quote is vetted. So when Charles was shown evidence of a family member acting as an informant, he snapped. Others suggest the betrayal wasn't just public, it was personal. A business arrangement gone wrong. A back-channel deal that put the monarchy at risk. It was a combination of offense and insult, one senior source said. A violation of royal trust and personal loyalty. The king didn't wait. He didn't consult committees. He didn't need to. His response was immediate. Full removal. The figure in question was stripped from upcoming royal events, disconnected from palace resources, and reportedly cut off financially. No fanfare, just elimination. The staff were told nothing beyond one line. They will not be returning. No details, no discussions, just silence. And when the silence comes from the king, it means the door has closed forever. What was once private family pain is now royal protocol in motion. But who was this figure? A cousin? A son? A controversial spouse? The palace won't say, but the signs are everywhere. Names are vanishing. Faces are missing. Could we already know the identity of the royal the king erased? Blood, secrets, and royal betrayal. In the monarchy, blood is everything. It's the difference between power and protocol, between family and formality. But what happens when that bloodline is questioned, or worse, corrupted? According to sources close to the situation, what triggered the king's drastic move may not have been just betrayal. It may have been something even more dangerous, a secret tied to royal blood itself. Some insiders are whispering about a paternity scandal. Not new, not public, but old, buried, hidden beneath layers of royal protection. The theory? That the disowned royal wasn't who they were supposed to be. That someone inside the palace found proof that shook the very idea of legitimacy. One source said, if the public knew what's in that file, it wouldn't just destroy the individual, it could fracture the family. Others believe the betrayal wasn't biological, but institutional. A breach of private security, a leak of internal communications, or involvement in a network designed to embarrass the crown. It's not just about stepping out of line, it's about being a threat from within. Still, the mystery remains. Was the target of this disownment a true blood relative? Or someone who married in and fell out? Some fingers point toward individuals with murky pasts, sudden rises, or deep resentment. Royal watchers are connecting dots, matching dates, and noting who's vanished from the public eye since the decision was made. What's most haunting is that this isn't the first time the monarchy has faced such whispers. Throughout royal history, questions of legitimacy have loomed like shadows. Edward VIII, Prince Albert Victor, even ancient Tudor lines. But this time, it's not a historical drama. It's happening now, quietly, fatally. The monarchy guards its bloodline like a fortress. And sometimes, a single truth is enough to bring the whole castle down. But behind the official reasoning and royal strategy lies something rawer, emotional, personal. Because while Charles may be king, he is also a man. And this decision didn't just protect the crown, it may have broken something inside him forever. Charles's emotional breaking point. For decades, King Charles has carried the weight of a legacy he didn't choose. He lived through scandal, survived public humiliation, and spent much of his life waiting for a role he never quite wanted in the way it came. But this latest chapter may be the one that changed him the most. Because what happened behind palace walls wasn't just a crisis, It was an emotional breaking point. Those close to the king say he received the confidential report early in the morning. His staff cleared the room. The doors were locked. When he emerged hours later, he had made a decision. One source described it as the most commanding they'd ever seen him. He didn't ask for advice. He gave orders. There was no wavering, no sorrow, just action. But don't mistake that for coldness. Behind closed doors, Charles is reportedly deeply hurt. This wasn't about punishing someone lightly. It was about being forced to sever a tie he had hoped would mend. Those who know him say the betrayal hit two sides, the royal father and the ruling king. And this time, the king won. He knew the risks, said a royal aide. He knew this would damage relationships permanently. But he also knew he couldn't let weakness show. Not now, not as monarch. The decision wasn't just a political move. It was a message to the world and to his family. I will not let emotion endanger the monarchy. The fallout is said to have been intense. Private meetings with senior royals were held. Some expressed support, others deep concern. But none could change his mind. This wasn't a reaction. It was a resolve, one that came after years of silence, disappointment, and broken trust. And so, the disownment was executed with full force. Financial privileges gone, invitations revoked, security reassigned. The figure in question has been effectively removed from royal life entirely. No second chances, no path back. He made the choice every monarch dreads, to protect the throne, even if it means wounding the family. But perhaps the most explosive mystery still remains unsolved. Who was it? Whose name was erased from royal life overnight? The palace won't confirm, but the list of suspects is narrowing fast, and the clues are everywhere. Who was cut off? The palace hasn't said the name, but the silence is starting to scream. Within hours of the disownment rumors surfacing, royal watchers and media insiders began digging. Patterns emerged. Public schedules were quietly adjusted. Certain faces disappeared from royal events. One name was noticeably absent from official social media roundups. Another was missing from charity event lineups where they once appeared regularly. Could it be Tom Parker Bowles, Camilla's son, long regarded as part of the extended inner circle? Or was it someone more deeply entwined? A prince, a duchess, a peer with access and influence. Some speculate Prince Harry has again come under fire, especially following leaks, interviews, and the bombshell memoir that shattered royal boundaries. But others insist Harry, though controversial, hasn't been officially disowned yet. Then there's Rose Hanbury, the Marchioness of Cholmondeley, whose name continues to stir theories. A figure connected closely to royal circles, but whose presence has diminished significantly in recent months. Some believe a behind-the-scenes drama may have reached its peak. Insiders say the disowned figure has already been scrubbed from several palace platforms, their image removed from archival galleries, their titles omitted from royal press kits. Even personal staff connected to them are said to have been quietly dismissed or reassigned. The palace isn't denying it, said a source. And that silence, that's not accidental. Friends close to the exiled royal have gone silent. Their social media presence has dimmed. Online mentions are being wiped in real time. Whatever happened, the royal machine has moved into full lockdown. And if history tells us anything, it's that when the palace refuses to name a name, it's because that name is too explosive to speak aloud. Their face may be gone from the balcony, but their shadow still lingers in every corridor of the crown. But when the monarchy scrubs someone from the story, how do they do it? How does an entire life get erased without a trace? Behind the cameras, behind the courtiers, a secret team gets to work, and their job is to erase the unthinkable. How the royal machine covers scandal. When a royal figure falls, it doesn't happen in public. It happens behind velvet curtains, in hushed meetings, in coded orders passed from aide to aide. The monarchy has perfected the art of quiet destruction. And when someone is disowned, truly erased, the palace doesn't panic. It preempts. According to insiders, a cleansing unit is immediately activated. Their job? To wipe digital traces, neutralize allies, and remove the individual from public-facing platforms. Royal websites are updated with vague wording. Search bars quietly lead nowhere. Old articles are redirected. Images vanish overnight. And yet, no one says a word. Next, security is reassigned. The figure in question loses royal protection instantly. Not with a fight, not with drama, just nothing. The blacked-out Range Rovers stop arriving. Personal staff are rotated out. Calls go unanswered. Former friends are issued warnings. Avoid association. Cooperation is expected. Even journalists are managed. Press offices respond with vague statements, if they respond at all. Due to privacy, they say. Unavailable due to personal matters. But behind those lines is a machine working overtime to rewrite the present. And make no mistake, this isn't new. It's tradition. A tradition of silencing problems before they spark public outcry. Phones are wiped. Diaries confiscated. Former confidants are interviewed under NDA restrictions. One royal staffer confessed, "You don't just get cut off, you get erased, bit by bit, until you're gone." The goal? Make the public forget. Make the palace appear unshaken. And so far, it's worked. No headlines, no confirmation, just a missing name and a mounting silence. When the monarchy decides you're out, you're not exiled. You're undone. But while the crown moves strategically, what happens to those closest to the throne? What happens when the queen consort finds out her own family might be involved? Behind Camilla's smile was a storm brewing, and no one could tell if she was crushed or complicit. Queen Camilla's reaction. When the news broke inside the palace walls, it didn't take long to reach Queen Camilla. But by then, the decision had already been made. Her reaction? Still unclear. But behind every royal crisis is a personal ripple, and this one may have hit closer to home than anyone expected. According to high-level insiders, Camilla was completely blindsided by the sudden disownment. Some reports suggest she hadn't been consulted beforehand, learning only after Charles signed off on the final move. She was shaken, one courtier said, but she didn't push back. Not publicly. Why not? Some speculate the decision may have involved someone tied to Camilla's own family, possibly Tom Parker Bowles or a close associate. If true, the emotional fallout behind closed doors would have been massive. Imagine watching your son or someone in your inner circle erased with royal precision, while the man you love remains silent. Still, not all accounts agree. A competing narrative suggests Camilla may have been aware, even supportive. Royal watchers say her recent public appearances have been calculated and composed. One aide noted, "She didn't cry, she didn't rage, she stayed regal. That says everything." Another chilling theory? That Camilla may have quietly encouraged the move, seeing the disowned figure as a threat to the monarchy and to her own position. The queen consort has long fought for respect inside the firm. Could this be the moment she stood firm for the future of the crown, even if it cost her privately? Regardless of what's true, one thing is certain. Camilla didn't try to stop it, whether out of strategy or heartbreak. She stood by Charles as the fallout unfolded. And in royal life, silence from a spouse isn't neutrality, it's approval. In the monarchy, loyalty to the crown sometimes means turning your back on your own blood. But outside the palace walls, the public isn't buying the silence. A missing face at royal events, vague health excuses, and cancelled appearances have fueled the fire. Is this really private grief or calculated crisis control? Public meltdown or royal crisis control? At first, the disappearance was subtle. One fewer face at an engagement, a name missing from a charity gala. Then came the PR phrases, indisposed, focusing on personal matters and the all-too-familiar, unavailable due to health. But royal watchers weren't convinced. Something was off, and soon the whispers turned to outrage. The missing royal hadn't just stepped away. They had vanished from every public-facing responsibility. Key appearances were cancelled last minute. Patronage events were reassigned. Even their usual column in the press, gone. The pattern was too strategic, too widespread. This wasn't a break. This was a blackout. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace maintained its usual composure. When questioned, press secretaries deflected. When pushed, they gave the same rehearsed lines, no comment on private family matters. But behind that well-polished shield, even staff were uneasy. "It's not illness," said one. "It's exile. They just can't say it." Public frustration began to boil. Forums lit up. Headlines grew bolder. #RoyalMissing trended on Twitter. Royal fans began demanding answers. Some even accused the monarchy of lying, covering up a scandal to preserve the Queen's recent image of strength and unity. "It's 2025, said one viral post. "The crown doesn't get to erase people anymore." Still, the palace didn't blink. That's how the monarchy survives, by never reacting. But this time, the cracks were showing. The more they stayed silent, the louder the questions became. Who was gone? Why, and more importantly, what are they hiding from us? The crown isn't just fighting scandal anymore. It's fighting visibility in the age of digital truth. And now, the stakes are higher than ever. Because this isn't just about one person being disowned. It's about the very foundation of royal power. The rules, the traditions, and what happens when betrayal meets the full weight of royal history. The historical weight of disowning a royal. This wasn't just a family fallout. This was a seismic moment in royal history, one that draws comparisons to Edward VIII's abdication, to the exile of Wallis Simpson, to Princess Diana's estrangement from the crown. In a family where discretion is sacred, removing a royal is a last resort. And when it happens, it echoes for generations. Charles didn't just make a personal decision, he made a constitutional statement. Royal historians are already calling it one of the boldest moves of his reign. Why? Because to disown a member of the royal family, quietly or not, sends a ripple through everything the monarchy claims to stand for: unity, stability, and tradition. This isn't about removing someone from a photo op. This is about removing them from the legacy, from bloodline history, from official royal records. When that happens, it's not just symbolic, it's institutional. It's a form of royal capital punishment, said one historian. There's no jail, no trial, no appeal, just disappearance. And yet, the history books are filled with cautionary tales. Royals cast out often become louder outside the system than they ever were inside. They write books, they appear on talk shows, they become weapons in political storms. And the palace knows this, which is why many now wonder, was disowning this royal worth the risk? The message from Charles was clear. Betray the crown, and even your blood won't save you. In royal history, you're either remembered for your duty or your disgrace. But while the crown wrestles with its future, the family behind it is fracturing. Allegiances are shifting, and behind the smiles at public events, a quiet war is unfolding inside the House of Windsor. Family fallout, a house divided. This wasn't just a king's decision, it was a declaration, and it sent shockwaves through the family. Sources say Prince William and Princess Kate were briefed privately about the disownment before the news was locked down. William, known for his loyalty to tradition, reportedly agreed with the move. He called it a necessary line in the sand, said a source close to the family. He, more than anyone, knows the importance of a clean succession, but not everyone was on board. Princess Anne, the monarch's no-nonsense sister, is said to have raised concerns. She reportedly questioned the severity of the move, especially its long-term consequences. She's seen this happen before, an insider revealed. She knows that when you push someone out too far, they often push back harder. Behind closed doors, the tension between Camilla and Charles reportedly intensified. While she stood by him publicly, rumors suggest she privately pleaded for a softer approach, especially if the figure in question had ties to her own family. "This decision has left a scar between them," said one source, "and it may not heal easily." The rest of the family? Walking on eggshells. Public unity is being forced, not felt. Smiles are staged, words are measured, and even among the younger royals, there's anxiety. If they can disown one of us, who's next? This isn't just a personal fracture. It's a royal reckoning, one that may change how the family operates, not just behind closed doors, but in front of the world. The crown is still intact, but the family holding it is splitting at the seams. And now, with lines drawn and the storm still unfolding, the monarchy faces a crossroads. Modernity is colliding with monarchy, emotion is clashing with image, and one man's decision may define an era or destroy it. The monarchy at a crossroads. King Charles's decision may have been about control, but its impact is existential. For the monarchy, this isn't just a scandal. It's a test of survival. The public is watching. The Commonwealth is questioning. And the institution itself is facing pressure it hasn't felt in decades. The disownment of a senior figure isn't just a personal blow. It reveals a philosophical divide. Is the monarchy going to be rigid, unyielding, a fortress of rules and ranks? Or can it evolve, adapt to a modern world where image is everything, and silence is seen as guilt? Some say Charles is digging in, that he's ruling like the monarchs of old, with authority, tradition, and little tolerance for deviation. "He's protecting the institution," said one advisor, "even if that means sacrificing his own flesh and blood." But others inside the firm are whispering doubts. The younger generation, William, Kate, even George's future, now hangs in the balance. Will they inherit a stronger monarchy built on discipline, or a damaged one held together by fear and secrecy? This act of exile could redefine what it means to be royal in the 21st century. Either Charles has just cleaned house and restored order, or he's cracked open the foundation beneath the throne. One thing is certain: the monarchy is changing. Whether it's transformation or collapse, only time will tell. You can rule through fear, but you cannot inherit loyalty. And now, with a name erased and trust broken, there's only one question left. What happens next? Will the exiled figure stay silent or strike back? And could this be just the first domino to fall? What comes next? The royal family has closed the door, but the one left outside? They might not stay quiet forever. Those close to the disowned figure say they're not retreating, they're regrouping. There's talk of a memoir, a documentary, a public return, and perhaps most dangerous of all, a platform. Because in 2025, being silenced only makes you louder. Will they expose what really goes on behind palace walls? Will they name names, leak documents, reveal private conversations? Or will they vanish completely, choosing peace over war? Right now, the silence is deafening, but insiders warn it won't last forever. Meanwhile, the monarchy faces the risk of unraveling. Public trust is fragile. Younger generations are skeptical. And every hidden scandal makes the crown feel more like an illusion than an institution. Could this be the beginning of a bigger collapse? Could more secrets surface? Could others, once loyal, follow this figure into exile? The palace may have drawn a line, but they also created a martyr. And martyrs have a way of rewriting history. So now, we wait for the book, the bombshell, the next royal face to go missing. Because if one of them can fall, any of them can. The crown is still standing, but its shadows are growing longer. The crown may have acted swiftly, but the fallout is far from over. The disowned figure could return with revelations that shake the monarchy to its core. A memoir? A public reckoning? Or will their silence speak louder than any words? The royal family now walks a dangerous line between tradition and collapse, between secrecy and exposure. One bold decision has changed everything. Will the monarchy survive the storm it created? Or is this just the first royal domino to fall? Stay tuned, because in this palace drama, the next chapter could rewrite royal history.